talk with you about the eclipse that's happening in Gemini at 25 degrees in the lunar mansion of Purnavasu Nakshatra. Now, this eclipse is intense for a couple of reasons. It's intense because we are, first of all, eclipses in their nature, they're just unsettled. They bring a lot of unsettled energy, right? So it's an unnatural movement of the luminaries, of the sun and the moon, right? And then the second part is that the moon, the planet through which we perceive and through we see, right, our emotional body, is getting eclipsed by Rahu. So it's getting kind of this smoked out haze. And then our thinking mind, Mercury, is tied up with two very karmic delivering planets, Ketu and Saturn, both restrictive in nature and both very tough. So in this eclipse, our mind and our emotional body can feel very tense, can feel very overwhelmed, but it's only a matter of days that we will have this experience, right? So this time, it's best to keep things simple. It's best to keep things very light, to eat light, eat good fats, to keep your nervous system coated, work on your breath and work on your nervous system. This will help to energize you and stabilize you. Because what Purnavasu, the nakshatra, is giving is actually giving a feeling for more than a month, right? So it's bringing forth this energy of this universal light. So the communion between Mula Nakshatra eclipse that happened on December 26th and the lunar eclipse that's happening on January 10th with Aditya in Purnavasu, it's these two goddesses talking about what is it that you really believe and what is it that you're putting into practice. That's really what it's asking you. It's asking for you to find and confront your own inner light and to see how you're igniting it on a daily basis and how you're bringing it forward. This is the energy that it's delivering. Eclipses in their nature, they're unsettling, they're unusual, they're different, but we don't need to fear them. What we need to do is listen, because in the eclipse is actually when we get the most information. It is when we actually can perceive a lot deeper within ourselves because the light is taken away, right? And Purnavasu Nakshatra is actually this nakshatra of universal light. And when we look to what was happening in the December eclipse, right, that's actually building on 2020 and completing in this cycle, first cycle of it with this lunar eclipse, it's actually looking at where we're really building from our belief system and where we're drawing our eternal light from. Really looking intensely within where we're bringing our light forward, right? So in the days around the eclipse, it can be a little bit intense because the sign, Gemini, its ruler, Mercury, is tied up with Saturn and Ketu, right? So it's an opposition, and this ruler is just constricted and held back by two very karmic producing planets, Saturn and Ketu. They're wanting to really liberate us. So it's not joyful and it's not a fun space, but it's ultimately a transforming space that we can all utilize. Now, the eclipse that was on the 26th of December of last year was in a space called Mula Nakshatra. And now we have the lunar eclipse, because eclipses, they always come in two, sometimes three. It's now in this Purnavasu, so it's two goddesses, Nariti, right, which is an Alakshmi, right, so, and Aditya, who is a goddess of space, right, of giving space, a place of like universal light. These two are communing. So Mula is really wanting us to look at the root of how our belief systems are really put into action, what is really working, what we're really practicing, and is it really delivering for us? And this light from Aditya with this eclipse is really making us look at from where our light is coming from and where we're drawing and where we're sharing, because in 2020, this year of the four, is really about us reconnecting with our heart and giving from this universal space. So these two eclipses are really setting up the whole 2020 scheme for us, and it's quite beautiful, even though we can feel in the first few months of 2020 where it's a little bit intense, right? So it's got this flavor. You know, it's not something that's going to be pervasive through all of 2020. It's really the first few months that we just have to get through. Just remain really calm and really steady and just not react. That's the best thing, is just not react. Just get comfortable in the discomfort and find joy in it and give. This is the most that we can get the reward from, is in this act. So this eclipse that's happening can make us feel really challenged in our mind. It can make us feel really challenged in our emotions, because our moon is our manas, it's our emotional body, it's our perceptive lens, it's how we see everything, and it's being eclipsed by Rahu, right? So this eclipse maker, Rahu, is just clouding our emotional body, and then our mental mind, our thinking mind, Mercury, is then constricted and constrained, sitting with Saturn and Ketu, right? So our mental and emotional and our nervous system as well is feeling tense, a little bit overburdened. We can feel that we are disempowered, but this is only temporary, because all it's really doing is forcing us to go within, right? So it's really teaching us this discipline of being stable and being neutral and not reactive. And then to take the insights that are being given to us through these divine luminaries. So on these days, just eat light, keep it simple, do what you need to do, get your work done, and just take time for yourself. Now, a lot of people will say, do a lot of self-care, do a lot of giving to yourself. I say give to others. So my teacher always taught, when you are suffering, go serve somebody that's suffering more than you. So if you're having a hard time in this eclipse, get out and serve somebody else. That's the best use of this energy. Get out and serve somebody else, because there's always somebody that's suffering worse than we are. And there's plenty of things in the world that need our attention now. So if you're having a hard time on this eclipse, get out and serve somebody that is hurting more than you. Yes? In a few days from the eclipse, actually, we also want to look at is that Saturn, the Lord of Karma, right? This very slow moving planet, this conductor of destiny, is about to change its frequency in total by moving into its female sign of Capricorn, where we remain for the next 2.5 years. And I'll talk about this in another video, and I'll put it also on my blog. You can check in the link below. This is going to be a massive change for us. In 2020, it's actually quite an astoundingly beautiful year. The first couple of months are tense, but it's overall a beautiful year. It's making us really connect with the heart and create a lot of stability and a lot of lasting changes. So with Saturn moving on the 23rd of January into Capricorn, its female sign, it's also got a female energy, as does these two eclipses. It's bringing this very tough mother, let's get to work, let's set the foundations, let's set up home. It's a great year for this, right? Thank you for watching my video. If you have any questions, please comment below. And if there's anything that you would like to know about, please also comment. You can subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Satanam.